Good evening, everyone. Welcome into the Hoover High School Coaches Show. I'm Jeff Lloyd, along with the head coach of the Hoover Bucks, Chip English, and we're at Buffalo Wild Wings here for the second week in a row, and we are going to be doing our Coaches Show here every Wednesday night, so we encourage you to come out and enjoy the great hospitality and the good food here and listen in on the Coaches Show. Coach, came away with a big win on the opening night of the season, 14-8. A nail biter toward the end, though.
It was. We made some mistakes, and we were fortunate to come away with a win against a good Muscle Shoals team. So proud of our guys. We knew it was going to be a tough game. We wish we would have played a little bit better, but it's always good to come away with a win.
We were talking last week about making the improvement between game one and game two, and we asked if the Jamboree could be counted as game one. Now you're hoping to make improvements between what was game one and next week, or actually tomorrow night.
Yeah, the Jamboree was great. We did get better from it, but when you look back, the quarterback was live this week. The kicking game was live. So you look back at it, and this was really our first game. So we were exposed a little bit in some areas, and we made sure as a coaching staff and as a team that we corrected those mistakes, and hopefully we can go in and have a much cleaner game.
A lot of people wanted to describe that game as a defensive battle. Would you describe it as that?
Yeah, I mean, when you score 14 points and when you score 8 points, it definitely is defensive. So I can't say enough about our defense and defensive staff. They prepared, and they were able to kind of go out there and really show what they're made of. They only scored off of a turnover, and so when you look at that, we put them in a bad field position, but outside of about two possessions, I mean, really, really good night defensively. A lot of guys stepped up and played fast, and we got to kind of match that intensity offensively.
Were you surprised that it turned out to be the defensive battle that it turned out to be?
I wasn't surprised on how our defense played. I mean, that they've had a great fall camp. I was surprised at some of the mistakes that we made offensively. It just wasn't what we normally made, and so we made those corrections. But surprised, I don't think that's the phrase. I mean, I was hoping we would score more, but I knew our defense was going to go out and have a really good game.
Yeah, and we knew coming into that game that they have a reputation of being a good defensive team as well.
Yeah, I mean, they come in. I think they were 13-1 last year. They had some really good football players, some returners in the secondary. Where they maybe didn't have the size and spots. I mean, they were really, really fast. Some of our backs and receivers got loose a couple times, and they were able to kind of match them step for step. So, Coach Darden does a great job up there, and he had those guys prepared, and they played well. And so, again, it's always nice to come away with a win against a quality opponent.
We talked about the defense playing so well. If you had to pick, I guess the keys to the game would be the way the defense played, but also your punter flipped the field a lot, and he may have been your MVP of the game.
Yeah, he does that all the time. When we go out and we prepare for that, and we don't want to use him, but when we do, he shows out, and so did a really good job. His average was up there and pinned him inside the 20, I think 5 times. So I can't say enough about their starting position was the minus 23. And that was even with the turnover we had and those type of things. So when you make a team drive 80 every possession, you usually have a good night.
And it was a smart play to knock that football out of the back of the end zone. They got a safety out of it, but that's better than giving up 6.
Absolutely, and we practice that weekly, on those situations. And Grant did a great job of recognizing the bad snap. I didn't field it cleanly. I need to make sure the result is 2 instead of 6.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about last week on the show that you didn't get the chance to do any punting in the Jamboree. He got lots of times to punt last week, and he, as you mentioned, did the job. Talking about Grant Morrison, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, when you clean it up and you make sure it gets better and better each time, and not only from Grant's been doing this for a while, and he boomed it all night, but also our coverage team, are protecting the punter and that sort of thing. So thankfully we got the reps. Hopefully we won't need it as much this week.
Yeah. The opponent tomorrow night is Opelika. It will be the first game of the season for them. I guess we'll jump right into that because that's tomorrow night. And Thursday night game. Tell us how your preparation will be going into this game.
Yeah, short week. So we brought them in on Sunday. We usually bring them in on Sunday, but brought them in and had an extended day with what we had because we had to put Sunday and Monday together. And our coaching staff worked relentlessly over the weekend to make sure that we're prepared to teach the guys about the week. And they were receptive. I know offense is itching to get back on the field and kind of prove, hey, that's not really who we want to be as far as the performance. So guys have done a great job. The couple things that you try to worry about with a short week is recovery, their legs. So we made sure our practices reflected taking care of those guys, allowing them to stay fresh, more mental than it was physical this week. But our guys, I think, are prepared.
I'm going to back up just for a second because you mentioned the offense wants to get out on the field and prove they were better. If I'm not mistaken, there were at least 3 first downs they called back because of penalties. So the offense did work at times. It's just that penalties negated that.
Yeah, you look back and, we watch film and, of course, we don't feel like they're holding calls and all this kind of stuff. But the reality of it is we gotta play better in some spots and make sure we're keeping our hands inside. And if we feel like we're losing a block, let it go. So we did have some big runs called back, and hopefully that don't happen this week. The guys kind of understand. The thing about it is like when you put guys out there that are starting for the first time, that was their first time playing in the Met outside of warming up. So the game's happening fast, and those guys have acclimated really, really well, and I don't expect that this week.
You had a 47-minute lightning delay at the beginning of the game before it even kicked off. How did that affect how things went the rest of the way? Did it or not?
Yeah, I mean, it always affects it. When you start bumping the game time, it affects a lot of different things. One, the hydration that you want to have, and also the time that you did from or that's went by from when you ate your pregame meal and all that stuff starts to wear off. Our boosters and Coach Crabtree does a great job of making sure those guys in the locker room, we have every snack, PB&J, fruit, Gatorade. So we were well hydrated and we were ready to go. So guys were amped up. So whether it be an hour later, 47 minutes later, it didn't matter. They were ready.
Yeah. Now, let's jump up to back to Opelika. They're a team that played for the state championship last year. They were beaten by Thompson, a team that you beat in the regular season. But for the second week in a row, you're going to be facing a new coach.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about?
Well, he comes from Montgomery Catholic, and so he's had a lot of success. A sharp guy, makes sure his guys are prepared. Defensively, they have the same defensive coordinator. And, of course, there's going to be some new wrinkles every year that he does. But offensively, he brought a guy over from Benjamin Russell who was at Montgomery Catholic before. So we worked and we tried to pull all of our information as much as possible. But those guys are ready. Coach does a good job. He did a good job at Montgomery Catholic. And their guys are going to be amped up. It's their first game. So they're going to be ready to go. And especially when, 2 years ago we beat them in the second round of the playoffs. In double overtime, so I'm sure they're wanting to return the favor. So our guys know that. Our guys know we want to go take it.
And their coach is returning home. He played at Opelika, and he coached there as an assistant for years. Yeah. And then he got a head coaching job, and now he's back, and he's replacing a successful head coach.
Absolutely. Coach Moore left, and then Coach came in. So been there since February, and he had a full spring. So. It's the unexpected, but we kind of know what to expect a little bit. We kind of know what product Opelika in general puts out every year, and so we're going to have our hands full. We can't play offensively like we did last week, and expect to win. We got to play better in spots, offensive line wise. We got to be cleaner. Quarterbacks making decisions, having his eyes where they need to be, receivers blocking downfield and making sure they're running the right routes. So those corrections were made this week, and our communication is better. And then defensively, we got to maintain that, and we got to keep the intensity going. So excited for the matchup.
Is that a home-and-home series? Will they be coming to Hoover next year?
Yeah. That's me and Coach agreed, and they're going to come up to the Met next year.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about scheduling because that seems to be getting harder and harder every year because people want to protect those open weeks, so to speak, that are not region games because they want to have the good record.
Yeah, well, the tricky thing is one, finding an opponent is not always easy, right? And typically, and you see it with all like the major schools, they typically play each other because nobody else will play them, and we're in that category. And as a coach, you try to make the best decision for your team on who you play, where you play. It goes into, well, what open week do you have? What week do we have? I need 5 home games, so I can't really play you because you need a home game. So all those factors go into trying to put the puzzle pieces together. And typically you see all over the state, we're playing teams out of the state typically. And so then it's, like this year with Knoxville Catholic, that's a 1-year deal. They're coming down. And so next year we'll have the return games, but then it'll go from we'll have 1 game to fill next year on that. So a lot of fun in January and February trying to schedule all the teams.
And as far as Opelika's schedule, I think they only have 9 games on their schedule. I don't think they were able to get the week 0.
And ultimately that's what happens sometimes. You get to the end in March, April, May, and I'm sure Coach, just like I did, you call about everybody in the state, everybody out of state. And a lot of times the factors like Mississippi and Georgia are on different weeks than us, right? And so their opener might not be it's a lot of factors. And so unfortunately, and then another factor we go into, well, if you're a 1 or 2 seed in your region, you have a first round bye. So where before all of us, we typically had that week 10 open. Well, now a lot of guys moved the game to week 10 because they're hoping to be a top 2 seed and they don't want 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
So if we're a top 2 seed, we'll have 2 weeks off, and sometimes you don't get what you want. So I wanted to make sure we had a game, and Knoxville Catholic was willing to come week 5, and so we booked it.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit last week. We touched on it. We really didn't get into it, but they had the realignment that took place in Montgomery at the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and so Spain Park's back in the region. The playoff system is a little bit different. And how does like last year, you had to go all the way down to Central Phoenix City for a first round. How is it working this year?
The goal, and a lot of coaches work together to change the rules, but the goal is to not have, I think there was 2 top 10 matchups in the first round last year. Mm-hmm. So one, they don't want to see that, right? We want to see some of the best teams advance. And 2, in 7A, which is now 6A, we've been underrepresented, meaning there's been less percentage of teams make the playoffs compared to the other divisions. And so one of the things, going up from 4 to 6 teams per, we're now a little bit more balanced in relation to 5A, 4A, 3A, and how many teams make the playoffs. And so you'll see more teams this year, but there will also be some first-round buys.
Yeah, that'll be, and you're hoping to get one of those,
Absolutely.
Even though you'll have the 2 weeks off.
Yeah, that's just a byproduct. So we want to go in and have the best seed we can. We want to go in and win every game we have, and so if that means us having 2 weeks off at the end of the year, we'll use it wisely and be ready.
We are at Buffalo Wild Wings, and it's time for me to tell you a little bit about what they have on the menu, and they have just about everything on the menu. And one of the things I was looking at earlier was the fact that if you don't know really what you want to get, let me recommend the Ultimate Sampler. And you can choose 4, and it's right at $17. And you have the choice of boneless wings or bone-in wings. They have the crispy chicken dippers, mini corn dogs. They have fried pickles. You name it. They have a little bit of everything on the menu, and it's an opportunity for you to just try to see what they have and what might be your favorite. So come on out and enjoy all the good food, the good service, and they have sports on every screen all around you, including
from wall to wall, ceiling to floor,
including our show. So
yep.
we encourage you to do that. Well, Coach, you've invited some players to come out.
Yeah. First up, we got our punter, Grant Morrison. Like I said, he had a monster game Friday night and made sure he was doing everything he could to make sure the team won, and played really nicely.
Well, I said nice things about you a little bit ago. I don't know if you heard that or not, but you kind of were the MVP in the game along with the defense. That had to feel good to be able to flip the field and contribute.
Yes, sir. It definitely was. I want to do everything in my power to make sure, I set my defense up for the best possible field position. So my goal is always to make them drive 80 or more yards for sure.
And you didn't panic when the snap was high and you were punting out of the end zone. I always get nervous when the punter's in the end zone, and you didn't panic and saved 4 points basically that they could have fallen on it and gotten 6.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We've gone over that numerous times in practice. If it's high, if it's low, what am I going to do then? And it was kind of a split decision. But I can see always what guys are going to be coming for the ball kind of just by their body language. And I could tell that the 2 end guys were definitely going to try and come block it. And at that point, when the ball hit the ground, I knew there was I had to hit it out the back.
Yeah. Grant, tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of you're a senior. What's your aspirations? Where you want to go to school, and are you being recruited?
Yes, sir. I am currently being recruited. Like you said, I'm a senior. I've been punting since my freshman year, actually.
He's the best punter in the state.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. So he's getting recruited.
Yes, sir. But yeah, I've been punting since freshman year. I have no football background before that. And I kind of just fell in love with it. And so ever since then, I've always just been able to do it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to pull Coach back in there for a second. Why is it that it seems like kickers are some of the last people to get signed or recruited, and they're so important in the game?
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at the roster spots and you look at kind of the breakdown of that. And so each school has a different kind of thought process and how they go about it. And so they're going to try to get older guys. But at the same time, when you have a guy like Grant that is consistently showing he can kick at that level, so there's no doubt he'll find a home, and we'll make sure of that. But there's only one on the field, and so when you only have one position on the field, obviously recruiting is limited and they're very narrow in what it is. And so, and it also goes back to style, right? And so some teams want a certain type of kicker or a certain type of punter, and so all those factors play into kind of where they go. Are some teams more portal teams? Is some teams really going to try to take a high school punter? And so those factors all play in.
Yeah, we're visiting with Coach English and also the punter on the Bucks. That is Grant Morrison. Grant, as we look at you as a punter, how do you prepare for booming the long one, which you are able to do? But then also there comes the time when you need to be finesse. Tell us a little bit about the different approaches.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So it kind of just comes down to how I hold the ball. If I'm, 50 yards out from the pinning them in their end zone, I'm definitely going to hold it different and try and get more hang time to have that backspin to come down and just hit and stop. Compared to if I'm trying to punt it like the first one, I'm going to try and have it spiral, basically like a quarterback, have it come up and turn over to get down, and it just kind of depends on how I hold the ball. If I want it to go farther, I kind of reach it a lot farther out to try and get that push off my foot at that launch angle, and then if I'm trying to get it, I guess, to spin back and be inside the 20 or maybe even the 5, it just kind of just drop it a different way and just try and hit the top of my foot, have it go up higher.
And your teammates, the downfield coverage, who they have to get down there and hopefully can race in to get the ball to tap it inside the 5 before it goes into the end zone, right?
Yes, sir. Shout out to Aiden Collins, actually. I think he was down there every single time. So if it wasn't for him, a few of those probably would have ended up in the end zone for sure. So,
Grant, once you go on to college, what do you want to major in? What's your goals there?
Probably follow my dad's footsteps. He was business. He's in financial planning, so probably something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming by and visiting with us.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on a great first game of the season.
Yes, sir.
We hope we don't see as much of you tomorrow.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Grant Morrison, who is an outstanding kicker for the Hoover Bucks. And you mentioned, I don't know anybody could be much better than that in the state.
No, and listen, there's good ones all over the state, but at the same time, when you look at the numbers, when you look at what he produces on a consistent basis, you won't find many that are better than him, even whether it be in the state or in the country. So, really excited to have him as a Buck.
And we have another player that has joined us. I believe this is Jordan Ward. Is that
Nope. This is Mari Dickerson, another wide receiver. So,
I was told Jordan was.
Well, they must have did the old switch over here. So,
Yeah.
All right, number 6, right?
Yes, sir.
I knew that. See, I'm on top of it. Welcome.
How you doing?
All right, I'm doing well, and ready for tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little about your season and what your aspirations are this year.
Well, so far, I feel like, we started off rough. And I feel like this past week, we've been working on our mistakes. And I feel like us building together as a team is going to help us for tomorrow and longer in the season. So I feel like we have a good future ahead of us.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about you, junior, senior?
I'm a senior.
Senior.
This is my last year. It's my first year as a starter. And, it's a lot to carry. And I know I have to fulfill the shoes that people have did in the past. And I know everybody's looking for me to do that. So.
Well, you had a great jamboree game. I know that.
Yes, sir.
So that was something that you could certainly build on.
Yes, sir.
yeah, Mari is also on the basketball team. So, he's a multi-sport athlete.
Yes.
Does a great job of managing that and making sure he's on top of that, keeping his body healthy, and likewise making sure he's kind of going to each practice and fulfilling those roles as well.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful because the coach is sitting here. What do you like better, football or basketball?
Everybody likes the AC.
I'm starting to actually like football more than basketball. So, yeah.
Good answer. Ask Coach Ware in a couple months, and he'll give you a different one.
Well, and that leaping ability is going to come in handy on making some of those great catches.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What are you plans to do after high school?
Hopefully to still continue to play football, but I want to kind of major in the business area or maybe psychology along those lines.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the Bucks are 1-0. That's a good start to the season. And
Yes, sir.
how's this guy been to get you ready for you? You're just playing football now. You just started recently. Tell us what you've learned in that meantime.
No, Coach, he's a very great coach on and off the field. I feel, when it's time for him to lock in on the field, he's that coach mode. And off the field, it's like he's the best. So, there's two different people. When he's on the field, he's locked in. When he's off the field, he's always joking around with us. But at the same time, he's always on us, making sure we do what we have to do.
Makes it fun to come to practice then, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, congratulations on a great start, and hopefully we'll see the ball in your hands a few times
Yes, sir.
tomorrow night.
Thank you.
All right. Well, where are we? We are getting close to wrapping things up a little bit, but we are at Buffalo Wild Wings. Coach, you got some good young men on your team, and that seems to be something that we've seen carry over for the last few years that you've been the head coach. It's always fun to have good young men.
It is. I can't say enough about the guys that we have on our team. Mari and Grant, they're one of the staples on the team. Not just guys that can play really well and score and punt, but they're guys that care about their teammates. They're guys that want to come to work. They kind of understand how to prepare for a football game. Mari doesn't. When he came in a year ago and started playing, and I think he played as a middle schooler but didn't play. Came in as a junior, really just wanted to be a sponge, soak up everything he could. And now, he's seeing the fruits of his labor a little bit on some of his catches. And so, losing Jeremiah Tabb last year, his catch radius, his ability to go up and get the ball, run after a catch, Mari kind of displays some of those characteristics. And so hopefully as we go on through the season, he continues to get better, and there's no doubt he will. And, give us a lot of touches and a lot of sparks throughout the year. And but our guys are great. Our kids, they care about each other, like I said. And, they want people to be good. They want people to elevate their game. They're not selfish at all. They go into every game and every practice trying to not only be better themselves, but pull somebody along with them. And when you have a group like that, it's a lot of fun to coach.
Coach, is there a correlation sometimes between the mentality, the athleticism of one sport like basketball translating over to football? how do you look at the correlation between
Well, I
them?
mean, a competitor's a competitor. Coach Ware does a great job running that program. So when Mari came back out last year, I knew kind of what type of competitor he was. So now it's just kind of refining that raw skill in order to be able to produce on the football field. And so, as a coach, our wide receivers coach is Coach Pilk and Coach Eads do a great job of maybe like if we're explaining something to him or teaching him something, we might use an analogy that like he could relate to basketball. And we do the same thing with our baseball guys and stuff. So, you just try to find out what ways do they learn, what ways can you teach them. And so the mentality, it doesn't really change. I don't think it does. Obviously, football is a much more physical sport, but going into work every day, working really hard, he already had that ingrained with him with Hoover Bucks basketball. So I'm excited to have him.
And being successful on the basketball court also, I guess it spurs someone to be successful in anything, and being in football.
It really does. Understanding the preparation side of it, understanding, hey, I got to get my body in this type of shape in order to produce on the football field. He came in last year. He decided to play as a junior, played some on JV, but really kind of transformed his body in the off season. So he would go shoot and do what his basketball needed, but he would also come and lift, and understanding he had to put on a little bit of weight and stuff to withstand the entirety of the season. And so can't say enough about him and really all of our guys on what they know they have to do to be successful. It's not just like, hey, coach, you're telling us to do this. No, coach. I believe in that, and I'm going to go do it with the best of my ability in order to be successful. And when you have guys kind of understand, good things happen.
Yeah. Well, the game is tomorrow night. Tell us about how the schedule tomorrow will work, what time you'll leave, pregame meal, and all that to get down, because it's about a 2.5, maybe a 3-hour drive down.
Yeah, hopefully 65 is open back up and clear. But, you go in, you try to treat it as far as like the milestones within the day, right? Our prayer breakfast is going to be the same. We are going to get them out of school a little bit early, going to feed them lunch. We're going to get out on the road. We're going to stop and do a walkthrough. And so even though we're traveling, those timestamps of the walkthrough, of the pregame meal, of what you do prior, going into the stadium, it all remains the same. And so our staff has done a great job of making sure all of our needs are met, and we're going to go down on a charter, so they're going to be comfortable, probably take a quick nap, and be ready to roll when it comes 7 o'clock.
Where will you do your walkthrough?
We're going to go to Huntington College this time, and we've stopped at Auburn, we've stopped at Alabama A&M, and Coach Blight, our athletic director, has some connections over there, and so our director of operations, David Crabtree, got together with him and me, and we made the schedule happen.
Well, Coach, good luck tomorrow night. Congratulations on the 1-0, and let's go 1-0 tomorrow night.
That's right. Let's do it.
All right. Well, we invite you to join us tomorrow night. We'll have the broadcast here on the NFHS Network and on our YouTube channel, as we'll be live, and we'll be coming on the air around 7:45, and the kickoff is not going to be until around 7:10 tomorrow night because of some other media obligations. But we invite you to join us. If you can, come on down on a Thursday night. It'll be a late night getting back, but we will have the broadcast for you, and then we'll be back here next Wednesday to talk about a Hoover victory as the Bucks take on Opelika tomorrow night. For Coach English, I'm Jeff Lloyd, and from from Buffalo Wild Wings, we say good night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Go Bucks.
Let's talk a little bit about this Hoover football team. They're not a young football team, although they have a lot of inexperienced players. They're a gritty bunch. They are a cohesive group, and that's one of the things that has really kind of revealed itself since the weight room in January all the way through fall camp, and now here we are with the opening game of the season. This might be the biggest student section that I recall at a football game in a long time.
That is big.
And we're ready for the opening kickoff. The Bucks will go from our right to our left. And finally, after what was a 47-minute rain delay, here's a squibber that will be fielded at the 11-yard line. Pritchard now tries to go and crosses the 30 out to the 31-yard line.
Let's see what this Buccaneer defense is made of.
And he's going to keep it himself, and he's going to be stuck right there, and a loss of 2 on the play. And across the goal line, and they push him back inside. Hoover defense swarming on the runner Warren. They give it to him. He runs into
What a
one
stop.
of the defensive players
What
who
a
pushed him
stop.
all the way back to the goal line. They had the great defensive stop, and they'll have the ball at the Muscle Shoals 37-yard line. He's pushed out of the pocket. He's running himself out to the 20, and he goes down. He's close to a first down. He is at the 10, breaks off a tackle, spin move at the 5, breaks off a tackle, touchdown! Well, we talked about him being a weapon, and he certainly is. Drop back and throw. He's got a man, and it's incomplete, broken up out there.
Great play
by Walloon. Over the middle. He got a man. He's caught it at the first down marker and beyond. Clark Blake with the catch on the ground. This is Boggin. Boggin got some running room. He's outside to the 25, to the 20, inside the 20, out of bounds around the 16-yard line.
That looks like that's the end of the first half.
No time left on the clock, and we are done with the first half, and the Bucks will go to the locker room with a 1-point lead, 7-6. They look that way. He steps out of the pocket. He's got a man open. Now he throws across the middle. That's going to be caught, and that's going to be good for a first down. Off to Weatherly. Weatherly finds a hole, gets to the outside, got a first down, 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's at the 15, and he's banged out of bounds. Roll out, they look, and throw to the end zone, wide open, and a touchdown. The Bucks come up with it. Michael Square with the touchdown reception. Mother's going to air it out to the far side. That's up for grabs, and that ball is intercepted. Picked off at the 40. Down there after the tackle was finally made by Keelan Jackson. The Bucks lead by a score of 14-6. Running play, and the Bucks stop him, and he goes down as they gave the ball off to Reynolds, and that will do it. And the Bucks win it by a score of 14-8. What a football game it turned out to be.
This one gave me a little more sweaty hands than last week against Bob Jones.
We got to find ways to do that operationally, special team side, believe in you. Great job. Hey, 1, 2, 3, family on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.